Do you know what? All around the house, we've got a lot of zones, almost like a dome-like thing. Show them the Jesus zone.
I thought you were going to say erogenous, you naughty.
Oh, hey.
Let's see, that is the Jesus zone. Can you see it?
Can you see that right through here?
Here, look.
What we're doing here is we're waiting any second, the second coming. And
any minute now,
this is prepared for the second coming. You see, we've got the pot noodles there, probably hungry. Beatles CD.
That's where he can beam down, because it'll be some sort of Star Trek affair.
And some really bad English wine, which hopefully he'll turn into some decent wine.
Yeah, lovely.
Through here, though, you're even more excited about this.
Bag's Eye.
OK, go on, you. Go on.
Here. Here's a zone of major interest to art lovers everywhere, because it's the token bit of culture to keep the middle classes happy zone.
Oh, that's right.
Which is lovely. We have artist Christian Furr.
How about that?
He's a very, very famous actor.
Have you ever painted anyone famous, Christian?
Painted the Queen.
OK, all the major gigs.
I think there's a hint of Princess Margaret about me this evening, and I won't tell you what.
And I feel like the Iron Duke.
But you're going to be working through the night, aren't you, sir? Capturing this evening. And what kind of a start have you made there?
Colourful, I should say.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You'll probably need quite a lot on your black palette to cover my hair.
Well, it's looking promising.
What does it
You're
give
lovely
like
thick locks.
Yeah, you'll probably need some more black there, mate.
Fabulous.
Ash chestnut will work. Do you know, we've also got the reasonably interesting dinner party conversation zone, which will be hosted by our very own man of mystery, top astrologist, Jonathan Cainer, ladies and gentlemen.
Man of morals.
I suppose you're looking forward to this, Jonathan, but then again, that's your job, isn't it? It says on my script, which sort of hints I should be with him. Shall I just move through? I'm going to move through, covering the hair as I go. Look, I'm going through. Thank you very much on the fence. I'm in. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
Oh dear, no one's turned up.
Well, nobody in the physical sense, but of course...
Oh, that's one of the slipperiest outs I've ever known. So who are you expecting around your table this evening?
I'm expecting a cornucopia of some of the finest stars in television today.
OK, who's here?
Yeah, well, we've got Joe Guest.
Joe Guest, lovely. No one sachets like Joe Guest. Who else you got?
Well, I was going to stop there, really. We've got Jamie Oliver coming.
Jamie Oliver, he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he's a thoroughly nice chap. And is he going to be cooking tonight, or is he just going to be enjoying the...
He's going to be eating and enjoying the ambiance.
Lovely. Who else have you got, John?
Well, I believe we also have Lee Evans coming to join us.
Lee Evans. Well, that's going to really... This is an extraordinary gathering. Who else?
Mo Molam.
Mo Molam.
And, of course, we have Dr. Eric. And
Dr. Eric, he's going to be here with some of his opinions. Who else? You've got Quentin Wilson, the Top Gear man.
We have. I tell you, the conversation is going to be electric and eclectic.
I've got to tell you, it's one of the most extraordinary groups of humans I've ever seen in my life. That's amazing. Anyway, listen, Jonathan, I hope it's a big success in here for you. Are you nervous at all?
I'm just delighted to be in such wonderful company. As you can see, I'm amongst friends.
No, but they're not here in the physical sense.
Yeah,
but I think it's Jonathan Cainer, ladies and gentlemen. Yay! Thank you, the two of you. I'm just going to glance at my script and vaguely cheat to see what's happening next. I'm not really meant to do that, but I'm going to. No, I think we can go over to Kelly Dalglish now. She's going to bring us the big breakfast, Millennium News and Weather. Here's Kelly.
More than 3/4 of the world's population has seen in the new century. Ian Ramage reports on the joy and tears at the end of a bloody century, but one which has heralded hope for the future.
A million packed into Australia's Olympic city, claiming an early victory, that of having the firstborn of the new century, a young mum giving birth to a boy 30 seconds after midnight. One of the few surviving communist nations greeted the new dawn by lighting an eternal flame, President Jimin promising China would restore its lost glory. The festivities reached Europe as leaderless Russia ushered in the new century by managing to find the money for a few fireworks over the Kremlin, where hours before Yeltsin broke a long promise not to quit before his presidency ran out. The Pope gave the old century a mixed farewell, saying there was reason for thanks, but after one of the bloodiest centuries of conflict, he said there was also reason to ask for forgiveness. And 5 British women toasted the occasion with chocolate in the frozen expanse of the southern polar cap. They're bidding to be the first all-female expedition to walk to both poles.
And just before I go, here's a quick bug update. And early reports of bug scares have failed to come to anything. All major international airlines are reporting no problems so far, although earlier in Scotland, thousands of mobile phone users lost their service, but Y2K is not being blamed. Well, now at 10 minutes past 1, it's time to go back to Johnny and Lisa.
rather lovely Kelly Dalglish. I say. Kelly, do you know, at this point we were going to do a few things we never knew about you, but we haven't got time. It's strangely
That's
late in
a
our
shame.
show. We haven't got time, but I can tell you something already. Go on.
I babysat Kelly once.
No.
Yes.
You're
How
showing
old
your
was she
age
at the
there,
time?
Lisa. That's not good.
Well, actually, do you know what? I was about 15.
Yeah.
So you must have been, I don't know, I'm thinking about 9 or 10.
A baby.
Easy. You're about the same age, all right?
Come on.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Just get the
See you
story
later,
straight.
my love.
Are you ready for this? We haven't done this. You're now going to hear something. If they've got the right tune, I do this. They have. You haven't heard this for a while, have you, gang? Can we dim the lights and have an effect? Perhaps too much to watch. Are they making an effort? No, they're not. Okay. Pete Johnson's there. Okay. The Aztecs of Central America. Magic Johnson. Yeah! Sorry, no, he's the head techno guy here. Ladies' man. The Aztecs of... Okay, here we go. We're going to get into this properly. Come on. He sings in a band. The Aztecs of Central America were a proud and sophisticated race, but they also knew how to throw a proper party when the occasion arose. In one of their festivals to welcome in the new year, the fittest and most handsome of the young men in the tribe was chosen to become a symbolic king for a year. During that time, he wore only the finest clothes, ate only the best food, and had his every imaginable whim and desire satisfied. Then, when his reign was over, he was accorded the supreme reward by the tribe's real ruler in the Aztec version of the New Year's honors list. What about that Henry Cooper? Isn't that... Sorry. Clad in his finest outfit yet, he was led around the city in a dazzling procession. At the crowning moment of the ceremony, the lucky lad promptly had his still beating heart cut out of his body, which was then hacked to pieces and the assorted bits lobbed over the edge of the nearest cliff. Still, talk about a hangover, eh? Do you know what? His heart may not have been in it, which was tremendously good. But ours certainly is, as we bring you our cutting-edge, millennium-related vital statistics! Vital statistics, millennium, dough. Vital statistics, 8 hours to get home. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put that one down, pick this one up. Put that down, look at this. Number of British households who stockpiled emergency foods over the millennium. Hey, do you know what? I'm just going to check with the control. You know the right answers aren't written on my cards. Does that matter? They're not written on. Look, it says they're just blank. Does anyone know any of the answers? Just before we start.
It's all right, someone's got them.
Have you?
Ed's got the answers.
Did I ever tell you about the time me and a few friends... It's the first time we ever went pike fishing, but it was a memorable day. Didn't have rod licences, thank you very much indeed. Didn't have rod licences, didn't make a difference when they arrested us. Okay, here we go. This is the first one you've got to guess. Are you ready? And, and through my ear will be fed the answer you want to hear. Number of British households who've stockpiled emergency food over the millennium. How many do you reckon stockpiled? You reckon it's big?
High.
Okay, let's find out.
Don't worry, the shops will be open Sunday.
They were, though. Didn't that annoy you over Christmas? Do you know you go to supermarkets, Christmas Eve, on the Friday, you stop on it, you go mad, everyone's walking around, literally, with roof racks of shopping on their cars to go home. And then suddenly it goes to be they're open again on Sunday.
Amazing.
Unbelievable, I spent 290 quid on chocolate. Okay, here we go. Number of British households who stockpiled emergency food over the millennium. Did anyone here do that?
Yeah.
No, really?
No.
Has anyone stockpiled any emergency food?
Chocolate and booze.
I've stashed a lot of shiny objects and chickens, just in case a new barter system comes in.
Chickens, you said?
Yeah, chickens, I said. Here's the correct answer. Oh, just in time. Do you think I filled in noticeably, or was it all right?
Nobody knew.
Oh, no, you should have seen Parkinson earlier. Damn sight better than he did. OK. Number of British households who stockpiled emergency food over the millennium.
100,000.
I'll tell you now, it's 2.5 million, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, Finally, we got to that stat. OK, and 55% of us have also drawn out a bit of spare cash, just in case. Anyone here draw out any... Anyone here draw out any spare cash?
Because of the millennium
I don't
bug.
care that the nuclear power stations have failed. I've got some spare cash. Do you know what? Number of British households that will finish their stockpiled emergency alcohol over Millennium Night. What do you think?
Half of what we had before.
No, it's more. It's more, because alcohol was different. What do you reckon there, Linda?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Millennium Night. You're not quite fresh in all the cinemas, are you?
No.
Look at that, eh? It's better than the fireworks, isn't it? Okay. What do you reckon over there?
68%.
70.
So, do you know what? It's not a percent. It's 6.5 million, ladies and gentlemen. And 48% of the country will be suffering from the effects of over-celebrating later on today. We cry... Excellent! Oh, here we go. Are you ready for this? This is stat 2. I think this is going to make more sense because I have the answers.
Thank
OK.
the Lord.
Number of people who'll try to cure their millennium hangover later today by drinking water.
I think
Can I
quite
say
a lot,
one word
actually.
for that? Naive.
8 million people.
8 million
8
people.
million.
You're exactly right.
I haven't looked at that.
Really?
I didn't look at that.
No, you did, didn't you? Oh,
I
big
just
eye.
suddenly look like a cheat on national television in
That's
the
all
new millennium. I'm not.
I do every day. 42% of British drinkers' hangovers will last longer than 1 day.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had a hangover lasting longer than 1 day? Anyone here?
Yeah.
4-day hangover you've had. And how big was the binge before that hangover?
Black Sambuca.
Black Sambuca.
I tell you what,
if you're drinking
incorporating
Sambuca,
Sambuca at any time in a drink,
it just increases the hangover, doesn't it? It really
you're
does.
thinking about that now, don't
No,
do it.
Because I just tell you, with Sambuca, 3 Sambucas, you can't not sing. Seriously. And the funny thing is every song you sing, the only lyrics to it are Sambuca.
Whoa, Sambuca.
Yeah, it fits in. It's Sambuca, la 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 la, Sambuca, la 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 la, Sambuca, la 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 la, Sambuca, la 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 la. Oh, Sambuca, la la la, Sambuca. It is the drink that launched 1,000 songs. Anyway, that's enough about Sambuca. A number of people who'll try and cure their millennium hangover later on today. Now, this is the only way to do it, by drinking more alcohol. That's the only way to do it. What do you reckon there? That was good, though.
Say 12 million people are going to
12
do that.
million people. You're quite near. Linton, what do you think?
14 million.
14 million. I don't know why you chose to thrust a camera into my elbow, but I like it. But I like what you're doing, sir. I like it a lot. What do you reckon, Baby Ben?
6 million.
OK, do you know what it is? Actually, it's 11.6 million, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. We cry more than so. Shit, yeah. Sorry, here we go. Number of new... I don't know why. Number of new computer... Because I can. OK, number of new computer viruses that are already causing havoc since the stroke of midnight tonight.
10.
Number of new computer viruses that are
Nobody
already...
will know till they go back to work.
No, this
will
is a very... This is why we have to wait for the stats, because this stat is just in.
they? Is it hot?
Believe that load of rubbish. Number of new computer viruses that are already causing havoc since the stroke of midnight tonight. Let's go over to Spencer, do you know the carpet monster right at the back? Let's go through the carpet. Right.
27.
27 computers. Can you ask Grafton, your imaginary friend? Known only to you.
4,224,000.
Grafton speaks, ladies and gentlemen. Grafton speaks. Do you know, I'll tell you now, it's 200,000 computers. The millennium bug should pose no real threat to Britain's computers, but experts believe there are a huge number of viri that have been designed by hackers to strike computers under the cover of the millennium bug. Fantastic. Number of people who'd gone to the doctors complaining that they'd contracted the millennium bug.
I bet this is high, actually. I bet it's high, but I've no... Don't ask me again.
OK, let's go to... at the back there. Let's go to Linton, because we haven't spoken to him, really. What do you reckon? Linton, you brought your drum.
What was the question again?
Number of people who've gone to the doctors complaining they've contracted the millennium bug was the question.
12.
12.
12? It's a staggering 226, ladies and gentlemen. It certainly is, and we cry, Magnifico! Do you know what? That's the end of today's first vital statistics, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely right.
Pretty impressive. impressive figure. Let's switch to another as we catch up with our very own Richard Orford.
Yes, indeed. Good morning. Happy New Year to you here at the Punjab Paradise in Birmingham. Oh, yeah. I'm really up for this. Indeed, we are now going to be playing a game that's going to liven things up. It's bound to get temperatures soaring as we play the hottest curry competition ever. 3 men, 3 bowls of curry. There can be only one winner as we play Kashmir Sweater. Yes, we are challenging 3 of Birmingham's most hardened curry eaters to try and eat the most curry in the shortest amount of time without resorting to having any of this beer. It's the hottest curry in town. How do we know? Because we're going to ask the head chef about it right now as we go deep into the bowels of a curry house on New Year's Eve. Where's our head chef? Ah, sir, what's your name?
My name's Babs, and I make the famous kebabs.
Babs, who makes the kebabs. What have you made for us here?
This is the biggest breakfast ever, biggest naan you can ever see.
That's one heck of a naan, isn't it? And you put together the curry tonight. What have you put in it?
Oh, trade secrets, red spices, green spices, green chilies.
Is it hot?
Oh, millennium hot.
Millennium hot! That's what we like to hear. Let's go back indoors then and catch up with our contestants. Let's meet them right now. First of all, we've got Ed here. Ed, are you enjoying New Year's Eve?
Yeah, Richie, right.
Do you fancy your chances?
Yeah, I got the hair, I got the curry.
Fancy your chances at curry?
I got the bell.
Great. OK, we've got 2 brothers here. Bit of a rivalry. We've got Stuart and Adrian. Who's going to be the best curry eater out of the 2 of you? All right, fair enough. Let's get on with it then. You know the rules. You've got to eat the most of this curry without resorting to any beer. On my marks, the best of British or indeed Indian luck to you. 3, 2, 1, go! And they're off. And it's a good start from Ed. Now, I have to remind you at this stage, this is incredibly hot. We've added on extra chilies on the top as well. It is literally the hottest curry in the town. And no, we've got with those. Someone's already out. Someone's out already. And no, I think Ed's struggling. Ed's struggling. We've got a struggle over here. And over there. Okay. All right. And it's over. It's all over. I'm calling it over now. And I think the winner we have here is Stuart. He was the only one, frankly, because I was about to vomit. Well done to Ed. And boy, is that going to hurt in the morning. And later on, we'll be here in the Punjab Paradise for more curry shenanigans. We'll see you later. In the meantime, it's back to the house with Johnny and Lisa.
Richie, the guy there in the middle of the table who just won, does he know what's going on? Is he
He doesn't have any clue, no. No, but it is legal. I hasten to add that.
Does he know he's on telly? Does he know there's a competition? Is it just all a haze of spice?
Do you have any idea what's going on right now?
He will in about 8 hours.
I think that answers your question, to be honest. Yeah.
Linton, how jealous are you, man? Is a man rendered speechless by the searing heat of a fire?
This is a nice touch, by the way, here. The big breakfast coming on Millennium Eve at the Punjab Paradise live television link-up. All prices will remain the same as usual. Very nice. Because I usually hike the prices up on outside broadcasts.
Do you know what? All these shows we're watching, all they do is tell you what the rest of the world's up to. Isn't it nice to have something that's so British? God, there's a few things you can be proud of in this gentle nation, and Richard Orford out there eating curry's one of them.
Oh, yes!
My God, yes. What's happening after the break?
We're gonna take some of our first looks at very memorable moments of the big breakfast over the last 7 years. And actually, they really are very funny.
You mean we'll get to have a little sneaky sherbet? Yes. Meanwhile, this is Channel 4. You're watching the biggest breakfast ever, where life starts with the dawning of a new millennium.